Hey everybody, welcome back to Smoky Hill Bonsai. There's a few things I want to talk about real quick today. As you know from watching the previous videos that last fall we moved into a new house, and here we are in the spring. Everything's starting to wake up, so we're going to take some time and understand what's in our landscape. The main thing I want to talk about today is if you find something like a tree that was planted in the landscape before you got there and it still has tree stakes in it. There's two extremely important steps to know how to deal with this. What we're wanting to know with these tree stakes is, has the tree rooted enough yet that we can remove those stakes? The reason we need to know that is if these ties stay on too long, it can girdle the tree. And you probably see it in your neighborhoods or driving around your communities. Businesses have all these trees that are just hanging off the guy wires, or the tree ties are still there. In general, these ties only stay on through about one growing season. So you can't plant a tree and put it on your calendar to know when the tree stakes come off, but you can certainly use your calendar to help remind you to check the tree. So what you would do is untie the tree, shake it a little bit, move it around, make sure it's rooted, and if it's not, you can retie the tree, or if it is, you can just remove everything. So let's get the stakes off the tree real quick, and we'll see if it's rooted. So there's so many different ways that people tie trees up. I prefer using 3 posts around the tree and then tying back to the post. You can see here they used a little bit of insulation. It rubbed on the tree, and then this wire was up against the bark. And you don't ever want that, because that could chew into that. When the wind blows, it could rub on that. You can see that this has probably been on a little too long, and it has caused damage onto the trunk of the tree. So let's get this other one off here real fast. The one advantage of these stakes is usually you can just pop them right out of the ground like that. Okay. So I've got the wire here. I want to make sure that I don't leave that in the grass for the lawnmower to hit. Okay, so now the stakes are off the tree, and you can see that if I pull and push on the trunk, that actually looks like it's rooted pretty well. So that tells me these stakes have been on the ground, or in the ground and on this tree for way longer than they probably needed to. And like I said, caused some trunk damage. So I said there's 2 very important things to understand about this, and the first one was getting the stakes off the tree. The next thing that is extremely important is to find out what kind of tree you have here. If you have a great tree like a maple or an oak, a nice ornamental tree, the next step would be to maybe go in and maybe reapply some good mulch around it. Maybe you can spray out some of the grass to kind of expand that tree ring. But in this case, we have an ornamental pear tree, probably Bradford pear, and I think what the next best step for this tree is. So now that we got that taken care of, I'll tell you a little bit why I hate this tree so much. So I'm not for sure how long this tree's been in the ground. It did seem like it rooted okay. I see some mistakes that were made when the tree was planted. Number one, there was probably a tag from the nursery or something that was down here. It didn't get removed. It's now girdled into the tree, and the bark is starting to heal over top of it. So number one, that's one strike against this tree. Probably got hit by either a lawnmower or somebody banged their shovel into it when they were planted it. So that's a strike against the tree. But then as for the pear tree itself, when you're trying to select trees for your yard that you want to depend on having in your yard for a long period of time, maybe we'll give shade sometime in the future, or just have a good strong tree that will withstand your winds. You want trees that have much stronger branch angles than the pear tree does. You can see where this comes off the tree and then almost shoots straight up the parallel to the trunk. These are very weak crotches in the trees. And right now, as a young tree, they seem to be okay. But when they, you put 10, 15 years on this tree, these leaders continue to grow up. They don't take the snow load, or they won't take the wind as well. So about the time you have a tree that you like, it is ready to start falling apart in the wind and the snow. The other thing is these trees are very invasive. So for example, I know some lots surrounding some properties where these trees are just suckering up everywhere, and we're actually in the process of trying to help remove and clear those. So the fact that it's not a very strong tree and that it can spread and take over other empty lots quickly is another strike against this tree. So what we'll do is I will chop this tree up and maybe pile it up, throw it in the pile so we can burn it when we get the burn pit set up, or shred some of it up and compost it or something. Anyway, so those are my tips for the day. Know what tree you're planting. Get a good, strong, healthy tree that's going to be good for many years to come. Plant it correctly, and later this season when we plant trees in the yard, I will show you the proper way to stake a tree. So thanks for spending a little bit of time with me today. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Take care. I'm gonna need a second to catch my breath.